Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Surya, your favorite sewing friend. And in light of my success of doing a shared dress, aka this one, I have decided to try and share something else. So I was thinking of this as a design. It's like a baby doll style. I'm not sure whether I should do a midi length or should I make it a maxi dress maybe, with a ruffle at the bottom. Has pockets and it has, like, you know, little ties at the top. So that is what I'm thinking of. I have fabric for it, but I pre-washed it and it came out and it's kind of a little bit rough. It's linen, but rough, like rough, not feeling it. So this is it. It's a boring muted brownie taupey color. Do you hear that? And like, I'm feeling it against my skin. I'm like, I don't know. So I don't know if this would look good as the sheer dress, like baby doll style with ties. I'm trying to imagine it. I'm sure it will be fine, but I don't know, on my skin, so rough. I think it should be okay. Like maybe if I make it and then I wash it again with some eco-friendly softener, perhaps it would come out like less rough. Okay, I'm trying to like imagine this on the mannequin. It looks, yeah, just like a brown sack. I think with all the details in the shirring it should turn out okay. At least that's what I'm hoping. So you know what, let's just do it anyway. It should be fine. I'm thinking maybe 3 tiers to make it more interesting and less blah. So just imagine this 3-tiered skirt, baby doll over here, and then 3 tiers. So yeah, just gonna have to figure out how to do that and the measurements and stuff, because I often, when I like draft skirts, don't really pay attention to the sizing. I kind of just like the width of the fabric is what I just will cut and just attach to something. So but because this is a tiered dress, I need to make sure that the tiers for each like skirt piece and the gathering is even and not overly gathered or undergathered on each one. They should probably slowly increase in gathers as it goes down. So I think from memory people normally do like 1.5 times the width of the first one, and then you do the second, which is the second one, and then 1.5 times the second one to get the third one, just so it looks a bit more even. So yeah, I'm gonna work on that, draft it up, and then just wing it, I guess. Just do it. Just do it. Okay, I figured it out. I have drafted pattern pieces. Let me just show you. Okay, so this is what I'm going for, the 3-tiered something something with a sheared bodice. So you need 3 tiers, my full length, like maxi dress length from, you know, under bust or like bodice area to the floor, to ankle, is 113 centimeters divided by 3, so times 0.33, is like 37.65 per tier length. And so the first tier will be the same width as my bodice width, which is this. So bust times 1.5 divided by 2, and then if you're cutting on the fold, divide that by 2 again. So my bodice width is 33.75 centimeters. So that is the width of the first tier on a fold. And then times that by 1.5 to get the width of the second tier, which is 50.63, and then times that by 1.5 again to get the third tier width, which is 75.94. Yep, so that is all the pieces. So I'll just run you through what I've done. So this is it. All my skirt pieces are here, 3 of them, first, second, third. And then we've got a really long tie piece, which is 55 centimeters in length, 8 centimeters in width. When you fold that in half, it's going to be 4 centimeters with seam allowance all around. So I'm hoping that's long enough. I decided to make it longer just in case. If it's too long, I'll just shorten it. Then you've got my bodice piece, as mentioned, and then I've got my pockets. So cut 2 pairs. Okay, so now that I've got all of my pattern pieces, I'm going to cut out on fabric, but I'm going to press that first, and then I'm going to cut it out, and then I'll work on doing the bodice first with the shirring. I'm going to do it properly this time. I'm like, you know, start to front, back stitch on each side, tie off the ends and then start another line, because last time I was just going around and around and around in a circle, which is not exactly the best idea because your lines will sort of be a little bit uneven somewhere on the bodice because you are just looping around. There'll be a point where part of your lines just kind of merge together and become bad. So I'm gonna try and do it properly and go slowly and evenly this time, as opposed to don't know what I was doing with this. Yeah, I just think like this fabric is a lot more forgiving because it's so like just like a lot of texture, and the shirring is sort of more hidden, whereas on that fabric it's gonna feel like more obvious, more noticeable. It's plain, it's only one layer, I don't need to line it with anything. So yeah, I'm gonna be careful this time. Okay, oh, it's hot today. I cut out all my pieces. This last tier was too big, so I didn't have enough fabric for it, so I just kind of winged the last tier. So I don't know how big it is. I should probably measure it, but hopefully it gathers up good enough. So yeah, it just needs to be bigger than the second tier, so I'm just gonna have to make sure I measure that. Okay, so first things first, I will serge all of these raw edges before I start sewing all of the side seams together. And then once I've done the serging and sewing the side seams, I'm gonna start on the bodice and shear all that. So let's serge. Also, because I can't tell what the front and back side looks like, I've decided to put a little sticker on the right side of all the pieces because I'm definitely going to forget. Like, it looks to me exactly the same. But yes, thoughts to you, stickers will help you remember what's right and wrong side. Okay, so I've serged all the raw edges and now I'm just going to sew all the panel pieces together. So this is the bodice panel, so right side's facing, just sew down the side seams. Also, I cut it weird, so that is unhelpful, and now I'm gonna have to trim it down and hopefully it doesn't wreck it. But yeah, just be careful cutting because I am not careful and this is what happens. Okay, so it's nighttime now. I kind of got distracted chatting to my mum for a really long time, but I'm going to do the bodice now. So I have sewn the bodice pieces together, right sides facing. They are wonky. Hopefully it will even itself out as I go along because not good. I have hemmed the top, so I just serged the top and then folded it down and sewed it down to make a little hem at the top, and then I'm just gonna go up and down doing lots of shirring. So I'm going to set my stitch length to the longest stitch length, which is 4, and then I've loaded into my machine a bobbin full of elastic. This one is leftovers, so I need to make a couple more, and then I will sew this down and hopefully it comes out straighter than the first try. So I'm not going to draw lines, like I guess if I was unsure about where I was going to put all the lines, all the shirring lines, I would draw lines across it just to give me a guide, but I'm just going to use this presser foot as a guide. And hopefully it ends up straighter than this version anyway. So okay, let's just sit here for several hours and shear this bodice. I will get back to you. Hello, another day, more sewing. So I didn't get very far last night when I was trying to do the shirring. This is how far I got. It's not bad, it's a lot more even than the first time I did it. See? But it's mostly because I can actually see where I'm going. The other dress that I was making, it was a bit more, it was just hard to tell what I was looking at. So the lines were all extremely uneven. But this is nice and even. And I didn't even have to draw in any guidelines. Just used the side of my presser foot to guide me. So every, each line is spaced out 1/2 inch. Oh no wait, each line is spaced out 0.5 centimeters or 0.6, around there, however big that side of the foot is. Okay, so I'm just gonna keep going all the way to the bottom and just leave like a little bit at the end so that I can attach it to this first panel of the skirt. So this is what I mean by using the presser foot as a guide. So this is the last line that I did, and I'm just using the presser foot of the side as a guide. So you just put that on the last line and just keep sewing all the way around. And then, yeah, the size of this to the needle is like 0.6 centimeters. So each one is 0.6 centimeters. Okay, so it's been 2 hours and I've done it. Yeah. Right, so, oh, yes, this way. So now I'm going to attach this to skirt here, but first I have to sew the side seams of the skirt together and then gather it up and then attach it to this. But I also need to measure where my pockets are gonna go. So let's just put this on. Okay, so pockets. Well, conveniently, I have a pocket here. So let's just measure from this point down. So 1.5. Okay, so 11 centimeters down from the top part of the first tier is where I will place my pockets. Okay, so 11 centimeters down. So let's put that on my skirt panel. Okay, so I've marked on the first tier where the pocket will sit, and then now I'm going to sew these together, but I'm going to attach the pockets first. Okay, so this is one of the first tier's panels on the right side, and I'm going to attach pockets to it. So I've marked where the pockets should go. It's 11 centimeters down from the top. So right side's facing, place your pockets on the mark where they should be, and then I'm going to sew down this line. I'm going to press it open onto this side and top stitch down the edge for these two, and then I'm going to do it on the other one as well. And then we will sew the side seams together. So just sew down this line. Okay, so I've just pressed the seam up towards the pocket, and on the right side I'm now going to stitch very close to this line on this pocket so that the seam stays in place. Okay, I have top stitched the pocket down. Yep, so this is the top, and now I'm going to get this piece and attach it to the other piece. So right side's facing. Right side's facing. I'm going to put them down on top of each other, and we're going to sew the side seams. Uh-oh. Whoop. Oh wait, no, I've done it the wrong way, this way. Wow, phew, for a second there I thought I did it wrong. Alright, so right side's facing on both sides, and we're going to sew down the side seam and then around the pocket. And then when we flip it out right ways, we will have a nice first tier skirt panel with pockets. Hooray! Okay, so it's all sewn in place. So if I flip it out right ways, yay, pockets. I guess now you would kind of give it a press because it's a little bit bulky. Whoops. Yeah, just like push the pockets in. And now I want to attach this first tier to the dress. I just have to make sure that I'm doing it the right way. Is this? Yeah, so this is the top. Yep, so this is the top. This is the bodice. So right side's facing, you would attach this to the skirt. First I'm going to run 2 lines of basting stitch on here so I can gather it up to fit in here. Okay, so it's time to gather. Okay, so all gathered up, and now to attach to the top. I've gathered it as evenly as I possibly can. Gathering is not my forte, even though for some reason I keep making things that require gathers. They always turn out bad. So, right, so right side's facing. I will flip this inside out, and then this one on the right side, I will shove it inside here. And we want to match up the side seams because of the pockets. So we have to make sure they're on the sides, matching the side seams, or else you will have pockets in weird places. So let's match up this, and then hopefully, so side seam matching side seam. I can make the gathers work in my favor to be even. So let's try to make sure all the gathers gather and fit evenly. And then once I've done that, we can sew all the way around. And then, because these are raw edges, I'll just serge all of these together at the end. Ta-da! Alright, so I've attached the first tier, side seam to side seam, so that the pockets are on the side. And now I'm just going to attach the second tier, which is essentially the same process as attaching the first tier. Right sides facing, sew the two panels together, press open the seams, run basting stitch around the top, gather it up, attach it to the first panel. And then I'll do the same for the last panel, and then hem it, and then I need to make straps. So I'm gonna see how much I get done tonight. Hello. Okay, so there, that is what it looks like right now. It's too long. I have obviously calculated my measurements wrong yet again. So it's floor length. It was meant to be midi, and I thought I did calculate it, and I did shorten the tiers of my pattern, but I obviously did not shorten it enough because it still hits the ground. So trying to figure out what to do now. I have a pimple on my face. Anyway, so I actually quite like it long, but the thing is, this material is very linen-y, but not in a good linen way, like a lightweight, fun linen. It's like a heavyweight, well, not a heavyweight, it's like a mid-weight, scratchy linen, which is fine. But like on a full-length dress, I feel like it might be, even though it's linen and breathable, not breathable enough. So I'm thinking, do I cut that in half and double, and then essentially the bottom half will attach to the top half as one longer loop and just be more ruffled and shorter? I don't really know how that will look. I'm trying to imagine it right now, and yeah. So I'm just worried it might look a little bit weird. I tried to sketch it out to find out what it would look like, and it didn't seem so bad. So yeah, that's my basic drawing. A little ruffly, as opposed to long like that. So yeah, I'm starting to think I will just cut in half the lower tier and just make it more ruffly. So yes, as you can see, this is what it looks like on. It's, you know, not gonna lie, it's quite cute as a maxi dress. It's just one, scratchy, two, very long. So I'm just trying to imagine this fabric, which is mid-weight linen, in a summertime adventure, which in Australia is pretty hot. So pretty sure, even though this is linen, I'm gonna be melting in it. So let me try and make this lower tier a bit shorter with more ruffles and see what it looks like. Okay, is a very vague pinning of what it would look like if I shorten the lower tier by half of its width, and then, well, not really, you can't really tell how many ruffles it has, but generally this is the length, and I think it looks better, more casual, I guess. And also just bear in mind that I will be having straps here, so yes. Okay, I'm just gonna rip out that lower tier and rework it. So I unpicked the third tier, and so that was one panel. There were two of them. So that's just one, which I've cut in half. And then I realized I probably didn't need to cut in half the second panel because it would be way too long. So I just cut it in half, the second one, and that's the other one. So I need to sew these three together to make one massive long tube. And I did this because I wanted to get a closer figure to the original length that I had for the third tier. And now that I have essentially more fabric because I've cut it in half, I'm just going to go with that measurement instead. So let's see what it looks like. Aha! I've done it. I've hemmed the bottom tier. It actually doesn't look that bad. So, okay, you can't really see because, oops, nope, okay. Look, it's so cute. It's better. So just, yeah, that half ruffle, half length or whatever it is, worked out fairly well. It's a bit more ruffled, as you can see. So now all I have to do is work on doing these straps. So the straps are fairly straightforward because they're going to be tie straps at the top, like so. That's my very terrible drawing. Basically, taking this, and then so I'll tie up here, and then there'll be one attached to the back so they can tie together. So in total you need 4 straps. So I'm just going to fold this in half, like press it in half, right sides facing, like so. Then I'm going to sew all the way around from this end to the top, turn it right sides out, and then just sort of like, once I've turned it right sides out, just poke in the ends and seal that up, and then attach it to the bodice. So now let's make straps. Okay, so I've sewn it right sides facing all the way down and then pivoting at this corner and going up to here. So now I just want to trim back the excess seam allowance because it's bulky and ugly and I don't want it to wreck my tie. So here we go. So when you're at the corners, you also want to clip them like so, just so that the corners are nice. Okay, so now I'm just going to turn it right ways out using a pencil because I hate the loop turner, as I have told you many times before. So, done this before. So what you want to do, okay, so this is the opening and this is the closed section. So what you want to do is kind of, this is like big enough to push through. So you just want to like make a little thing like this, very technical, and then just kind of, just kind of shove, like poke the pencil in there, and you wanna see how it's working. Just wanna slowly try to force its way in. Aha. Good. So as you can see, it's kind of made a little hole in there. Yeah, you just kind of keep doing this until it's on the right side here. And then we can essentially pull all this downwards. And then it works. So this is just an easier way to do it without essentially damaging the fabric, because loop turners have a little hook that you need to hook it in on, and then I often snag my fabric all the time. So if you've got like straps that are big enough like this, just using a pencil is easier, a safer way of not damaging your fabric. So I just want to get the points in, so I might have to shove the pencil back up there to sort of make those corners pop a bit more. Yay! I'll give this a press, and then I'll fold in this raw edge inwards neatly and then just sew it down. Okay, so I've made the straps. Right, so turn it right side out, I pressed it, I pushed in the ends of the raw opening, and I closed it up. So now this shonky one is going to attach to here. So I kind of just need to figure out the best placement. Here, here to make it wider, or do I want it more inside? Yeah. And then of course the other one will have to sit there, and then they will tie up. So I'm just gonna mess around with the placement of this. I'm thinking like a wider strap will be good, just because I have very wide shoulders, in the words of Regina George, man shoulders. So, you know, the more narrow your strap is, the more obvious your shoulders are. So I would like to conceal them by making the straps a bit wider. It's done! Yay! Okay, so I put the straps pretty wide, I would say. Not so wide that they would like fall off, but wide enough that they look, you know, flattering. So yeah, it's looking good. Okay, so it's done. It has pockets, has a midi-ish length, and it is quite good. I'm really happy with this. So I'm just going to talk to you up here because that angle down there is very unflattering, but yeah, it's done. So I was actually really worried that this color would make it seem really sack-like, but I think, you know, the texture, the color, the shirring, the tiers, the ruffled hem at the bottom, yeah, it makes it pleasant looking. So it's not bad that this is such a, you know, neutral color. Also, this fabric is still a little scratchy. I wish it was a softer linen, but like I'm wearing it now. It's not so uncomfortable that I can't walk around in this. So yeah, it's fine. I think with more washes maybe it will be a little bit softer over time, so I'm hoping that will happen. But yeah, this is how it looks. Like pretty much just another dress to wear with a hat. This is cute. I have a lot of this leftover fabric. So in the end, I only used 4 meters of fabric for this dress. If I was to make it without this smaller ruffled third tier, then, so if I was to make, so 4 meters with the modification of a smaller ruffled third tier, but if I was to make this a full length dress with like a tier, like the third tier being full length, then I would probably need 5 meters for my height. I'm like 170, so yeah, that's just something to bear in mind. But 4 meters, I think, of fabric should be enough to make this particular dress. So I hope that the sewing adventure that was this dress inspires you to make one just like this in, you know, whatever beautiful fabrics you decide to choose. I think this would be really nice in a viscose rayon maybe. Yeah, something lightweight and breezy like that would be nice. Like, this is still pretty breezy. Granted it is a little bit thick, but I think I might try and make another one with a different, like maybe like with like a lighter weight fabric one day. Also, the straps are quite long, but I feel like I could have made them longer so that this would have been a bit, well, longer, because when I'm tying it now I'm just like scared that it's not gonna stay, I guess, but it seems fine. So I hope that this video has been somewhat fun to watch and mostly inspires you to make one just like this, and I wish you luck in your sewing adventures. And if you would like to see more of my videos and more of my sewing adventures, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!